All right, I'd just like to invite Eitan back to the stage. He's going to talk about STEM.
Okay, how everybody's doing so far? Lunch is almost there. We have a few minutes before lunch, and in everything IoT, so I come from Israel, for whoever didn't guess that yet. But there are many things why Israel is considered the star of nations. I've been part of it for many years, but there are two things that I like to stress over and over again. One is the involvement of multinational and big corporates in Israel. There are about 500 major R&D centers of world leaders in Israel, and that's a huge catalyst for the local ecosystem and startup community and high-tech industry. And in Australia, I encourage, whenever I have a chance to speak, for the government to take it very seriously, to put the means to attract those multinational to open up R&Ds in Australia. But the second thing which is crucial is STEM education. And it's been very talked about in the last year or two in Australia. In Israel, it's been recognized for the last 20, 30 years. We put a lot of effort in STEM education for kids in universities, teaching the right skills so that there is those skills to develop to the tech world. 3 years ago, I was introduced to a great project in Israel called the Technoda. Technoda is a center that have 30,000 kids going through it every year. They learn multiple of STEM education subject. And I took the challenge to bring some of that knowledge to Australia. Now, there are two very good friends of mine. They are very engaged, and we're working together on different projects, how we can get STEM into early age education. So I want to give them the stage just for a few minutes to talk about those projects. So we start with Stephen Router. Stephen Router is from University of Technology of Sydney, a great guy, and has some great initiative to tell you about.
Thanks, Aidan, and good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank Aidan and the Everything IoT team for another great conference, but also the great work he does throughout the year. So much has been said about the need for the Australian education system to provide more STEAM education. Bit different to STEM because it includes arts. Entrepreneurial education underpins the culture of innovation nations like Israel, where this based activities are introduced as young as 3 years old, where parents see entrepreneurship as a career, where universities foster impact and commercial outcomes, where the government supports all this in a strategic and holistic way. It's been almost 12 months since I returned home from a trade mission to Israel, and this year I wanted to do my part to change the education landscape. Being part of the Spark Festival Sydney committee, leading the education track, of which the Everything IoT conference is the first event, allowed me this luxury. In Australia, the education system needs to encourage students to pursue this entrepreneurial path. We must embed an entrepreneurial mindset into future generations much earlier than arriving at a university. Even though at UTS, students have the option to enrol in over 40 subjects or multiple degrees that cover entrepreneurship and innovation. That's my plug for my company today. Experiential learning is a must, bringing students together with professionals who field real-life challenges and opportunities into the curriculum. Working with the students to solve unmet market needs are a priority. From every ethnic group, religion and lifestyle, it's clear STEAM education can and must be accessible to everyone. This was a key insight when Aitan introduced me to the CEO of Technoda, and I went, to visit the facility, and it enriches 30,000 children a year to science enrichment classes. And it's also just opened up its second facility, which is 5 miles north of Gaza. So this has been the template to create a series of events under the futures.edu guise. So next week, the Spark pop-up space on October 27 is a fully immersive and dynamic educational experience where students will discover the delights of the latest in science, technology and creative entrepreneurship, as well as the fun stuff such as social robotics, virtual reality, drones, and for my University of New South Wales colleague, Atlassian on site to hack children out of the escape room. So that'll be followed up by the next day, and that is Fish Tank. So Fish Tank will provide a special opportunity for budding entrepreneurs that will sharpen their business ideas and learn how to pitch. On top of that, budding student entrepreneurs from UTS, the University of New South Wales and the University of Sydney will also go through their own Shark Tank experience and have their tables reversed. Can their pitch be understood by a 12-year-old? So the future of work is going to dramatically change in the next 5 years. So with that, our education system has to as well. So if anyone's keen to be involved, please reach out at lunchtime. I'd love to talk further about it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Stephen. And there's some brochures outside in the brochure tables about those 3 events that Stephen mentioned. Now I'd like to invite Jackie Salvaro. Jackie actually is an educator for many, many years in the STEM education in New South Wales. But she actually quit her job to focus on a huge project. It's a giant project, actually. So before Jackie starts to tell you about it, I'd like to play a short video of that project. That video was actually created by 11 and 12 years kids. Let's play it.
How to get an advertising campaign done for $250. I've just taken 30 people to Space Camp USA. I've taken more than 300 primary school children, their parents and teachers since 2008, because I believe waiting till year 9 is too late. We have to open up the STEM pipeline and the STEAM pipeline of our kids. We need to inspire them for the future. So for those people who say, oh, I can't possibly do it, well, I've taken every kind of student I've even taken 10 disadvantaged girls to space camp in Turkey via Gallipoli, where they stood on the beach and said the ode and found their Australian identity there. So the kids that put that together came with me to space camp. They're from Western Sydney, and they thought, this is a dream, we could never do this. Well, we fundraised together and off we went. I've had no corporate sponsorship, and I've raised $100,000. So these kids believe in what I'm trying to do. That's why they made the video. It's their future. So what we're doing at One Giant Leap is we're investing today in tomorrow. So we're investing in the students that are 8 years old and older, and we're bringing Space Camp to Australia. We have 6 different locations on the books. We've got 2 state governments vying for us to open up in their state. We're not out to create Australia's next astronauts. We're out to create a workforce that believes in themselves and has an I can attitude, that they can be resilient and that they can have empathy towards others, be tolerant, all of those things that NAPLAN does not assess, all the employability skills that are required for jobs of the future. That's what we're trying to create. A workforce that collaborates, that networks, and gives their best shot at whatever it is they're passionate about. So we can increase our STEM pipeline in this country quite easily by finding out what the kids are passionate about and work with them on that. So my company works with industry, education institutions and government around what skills are required for our next workforce, and I won't call them the 21st century because we're already there, what we need for the future to make our country great and to be globally competitive. So Space Camp, just that program, has been operating for 32 years. 850,000 students have been through the program. So we're just going to take it, make it Australian, and then we're going to add on, and we're going to add on aviation, robotics, flight, movement. We're going to add on marine and aquatic environments and sustainability. And if we can't hook kids into STEM careers with that, I give up. So our target is 8 to whatever, and we're even going to create visually impaired camp. There's an expert who's been doing that for 27 years. So even if people are visually impaired or blind, it doesn't mean that they don't have a passion for something. So we'll be doing the camp out in Braille. It's an immersive camp. It goes for a week at a time, and we give the teachers a toolbox of stuff to go back and teach STEM properly in their schools. And we'll be working with universities on pre-service teachers and prac placement so that we can create the teachers of the future to create the STEM force of the future. So if you're interested in helping me out, we've got a stand out there, and I'll be really interested to talk to you. Thanks.